Today we're learning more about what led that cargo ship to collide with a key bridge in Baltimore, causing it to collapse. 6 construction workers on board the Francis Scott Key Bridge died in that disaster last year, and now the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, is sharing the results of its investigation. Scripps News investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra has been following today's hearing. He joins us now live. And Patrick, today's hearing was more than just about this one bridge. Tell us what you heard.
Absolutely. They're taking a look at all bridges across the country that really are at risk of similar collapse, which is really a scary prospect when you think about it. But NTSB wrapping up this hearing with a series of safety recommendations designed to prevent something like this from ever happening again. NTSB focusing really on 2 things. One, the ship, 2, the bridge. So let's start with the ship. That's the Dali cargo ship that last March was leaving port at Baltimore when it lost power not once but twice as it approached that bridge. They were unable to regain control of the ship because they couldn't get the power restarted in time. And of course, at that point, the Dali struck one of the key supports of the bridge, and most of the bridge then collapsed. NTSB investigation today saying that they found that there should have been better safety systems on board the ship that would have allowed the power to restart faster. So that way they could have had better control of the ship and avoided actually hitting the bridge. So safety recommendations today include making sure that ships in a pivotal channel like this have those sorts of systems on board so that when power does fail, it doesn't simply become a battering ram adrift. Then a huge focus on the bridge itself. As we've been reporting for quite some time, this was an old bridge built in 1977. And the key thing to know about this bridge is that designers had no idea that ships would ever become as big as they are now. So the bridge was not designed with this idea of having an impact from a ship the size of the Dali. What's worse, 1991 is when the first standards actually came out for how to protect a bridge from a bridge strike. But officials in Baltimore and the state of Maryland never actually retrofitted the Key Bridge so that it could withstand a ship strike. In fact, we learned today it was 30 times over the risk limit for something like this happening. Another thing I want to point out from the hearing that we learned that really was pretty devastating, I'm sure, to the families of the 6 construction workers that died, NTSB finding out that there actually would have been enough time for those workers to get off the bridge once the Dali knew that it was barreling uncontrolled at the bridge. Keep in mind that motorists knew that there was a problem because the Maryland Department of Transportation had actually closed off both sides of the bridge with just enough time to prevent motorists from being on top of the bridge. But that word never got to the 6 construction workers who then were on the bridge as it collapsed and who died. NTSB saying even though it is something to note that there wasn't a huge loss of life, this still was a preventable tragedy. This is the NTSB board chairwoman, Jennifer Homendy.
The fact is, none of us should be here today. This tragedy should have never occurred. Lives should have never been lost. As with all accidents that we investigate, this was preventable.
Focus now turns to 68 other bridges all over the country, including some notable ones, Golden Gate Bridge and bridges in New York, making sure that they now have the protections that they need to withstand a collision like this. One of the recommendations, have a warning system installed on bridges so that if a bridge is hit, Del, motorists will know with enough time to stay off.
All eyes now on the construction of the new bridge and the cost. The cost overruns are now being tallied up. Original estimates were it was going to cost about $2.5 billion, now as much as $5 billion because of the safety concerns that you're pointing out. A busy day.